I'm so freaking excited to hang out with every single one of you on our official kickoff call for our brand new 6 months to 6 figures mastermind. We've got several people here with us today, including those of you who have officially joined, as well as some who we sent out some text messages and some emails, and we invited you to just come hang out today and see what this thing was all about, to see if it's even worth your time. And if it's not, no harm, no foul. I'll still love you, and I'll still keep sending you emails and texts about other awesome stuff. But if it is a good fit for you, you're welcome to hang out, and I'll have a special link at the end. Yeah, Eric's like, I know how you work, bro. I know the emails are still coming. So today, even though it's our kickoff call, usually there's a couple things that I have to do on a kickoff call. We've got to go over all the rules and structure and blah, 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 blah. We're going to do that at the very end of the call today. And honestly, if the teaching is just vibing and everyone is like learning and growing and taking notes and we want to dive into Q&A instead, I can always go live in the Facebook group tomorrow to talk about that stuff. Because honestly, this is one of my core values. It is like one of the kind of mantras that I live by. And that is to add value before you ask for value, and to add more value than I ask for in return. So my goal of call one, more than getting you familiar with the Facebook group and how to log into your online portal at joshcoates.com and all of that, my goal is to give you a win. I want to help you to see, one, what is possible for you, but two, some very specific steps. How many of you ever heard the quote that says, the greatest day in my life was one, the day I was born, and two, the reason I found out why? Has everybody heard that quote? And I love that quote, but I also hate that quote. And here's why I hate that quote. Because my entire life, I was told that I had a purpose. My entire life, I was told that I was put here for a reason. My entire life was just like all of this positivity fed into me, and I will, for the rest of my life, be so freaking grateful for that positivity. At the same time, I found myself in my 20s feeling like, okay, I'm supposed to do something, right? I'm supposed to have a purpose. I'm supposed to change the world. I'm supposed to make a difference. And over and over and over, finding myself frustrated as I couldn't figure out how to do that. And so I started to actually hate that quote because in my 20s, I quit 6 different businesses. I kept getting started and then running into like a brick wall of emotions is how I explain it. I mean, now that I'm a certified life and performance coach, I could give you the scientific thing that was actually happening. But back then I didn't know any science lingo. I didn't know. All I knew was Josh gets excited, feels like, oh my God, I found the thing. This is the thing I'm supposed to do. It's going to make a difference. It's going to change the world. It's going to be so powerful. It's going to be so amazing. And then 2 weeks in, it was like a flood of guilt and shame and questions and self-doubt just flooded me. And I would feel stuck. And the only thing I knew how to do to get rid of all those shitty feelings was to quit. I found that every single time I went back to my place of safety, all of that pressure and all of those emotions would shut up. And so I created this cycle in my 20s, get excited about an idea, get flooded with emotions, quit. Get excited about an idea, get flooded with emotions, quit. And so I realized that the greatest day is not the day you realize why you were born. The greatest day is when you finally realize how to put into action the things that get you to the place that helps you to do the things you were born to do. And unfortunately, I wish I could tell you that that was a day, but it's not a day. John Maxwell says it like this. He says, a leader is not made in a day, but rather one day at a time. So there's not actually a magical day, but there is what I would call, I'm going to put over here for you in the chat, a process. And engaging in the process. Today, I'm going to teach you what that process looked like for me and what it can look like for you if you choose to hang around in this group. But this process isn't as easy as just one thing. And I wish it was. Anybody see ads showing up in their feed every single day? Just build this one funnel. Just use this one reel. Just copy the reel. One. And what's crazy about that is the way our subconscious mind works is if we read that over and over and over and over and over and over, and we allow ourselves to kind of buy into it a little bit over and over and over, we actually start to believe on a subconscious level, we're going to talk more about the subconscious later, that there is one thing that's going to fix us. And the problem with that is, one, there isn't one thing that's going to fix us. But two, if you keep trying one thing after one thing after one thing and it doesn't work, what do you start to believe about yourself? Maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'm flawed. Maybe this is never going to work for me. If this one thing is just working for everybody else, apparently everybody else is, there's testimonials to prove it. Like, this person's right. There's this one thing, but not for me. So I must be screwed up. And it's not that you're screwed up. It's that there is more than one thing that is needed to grow your life. And I always like to look at business as like a parallel of our health. Imagine if there was just one thing that fixed your health. Now, there could be one thing that would make you lose weight. There could be. But I don't personally think that losing weight equals health. It can be an element of health sometimes when it's needed, but it's not health. Health would be you're full of energy, you're thriving, your body is in really good condition, and you can climb mountains if you want to. You can, for me, more jungle gyms than mountains. I live in Oklahoma. Lots of jungle gyms, not so many mountains. But you can essentially, via your body, live your best life. That would be health to me. Now, what I've found is that things that people would never do to their bodies, they try to do their business. People are injecting thousands of quick fixes into their business and wondering why it's not going anywhere. And so today I want to talk to you about the process that I want to invite you to go on with me, okay? And we're going to I want to give a quick, like super fast little elevator pitch for the program. This is for the busiest entrepreneurs that are committed to building the life of their dreams. This next part is very important. Without giving up the most important things along the way. How many of you have people that you love in your life? Can you show me some jazzies? How many of you have been told that you got to sacrifice those things now so that you can live a life like no other later? I don't believe you should ever sacrifice the things that are most important to you. Your business should be something that's fueled to help your family. It should not be the thing taking you away from your family. But this is also my promise to you, and this is really important. This isn't a guarantee that you're going to get to six figures in the next 6 months, but these are the most important tools that took me personally to 6 figures in 6 months once I had them working together. Okay? So I'm not here to promise that every single person on this call is just going to show up on calls and magically 6 months from now, you're going to be making 6 figures. But this is the process it takes to get there. Some of you are on this call and your current momentum level is like a 7 or 8 out of 10. And for that person, we're going to skyrocket you so fast. But for some of you on this call, like your momentum right now is a -4, okay? And if your momentum is a -4, we're probably not going to get you to 6 figures in the next 6 months because you're just going to have to learn some of this and actually put it into practice first. But here's what you should have 6 months from now. If you stick with me, and no one has to, it's a subscription, which means you can leave literally anytime you want. Okay, no one's committed to 6 months. But if you do stick around for 6 months, my promise to you is that you will have tools that you will know, like an exact plan and strategy of how to get to 6 figures. And you can do that with us or without us. 6 months from now, I want you to be able to go build the business and life of your dreams with or without me. I think probably you're going to like me and you're going to want to stick around and do it with me. But if you don't, that's okay too. There's literally zero pressure for that. Okay, so real quick, before we jump into what this looks like, we're going to do a giveaway today. We got tons of giveaways going down inside the Facebook group. We're in the middle of doing a book club where everyone is reading my book that you can get for free at joshcoates.com, by the way, the best version of you. We're doing that inside the Facebook group right now for those of you that are actually in the program. So we're going to do a giveaway on today's call. Just like we do on my big webinars, I want you to take a screenshot of what you see or a selfie with all of us in the background. I want you to tag me in your stories on Facebook or Instagram. And we're going to give 3 people $100. Okay. You can take that $100 and just go buy some Christmas presents. You can take that $100, put it towards a month and a half inside the program. Do whatever you want with it. I don't care. Just take a selfie and let's rock and roll. Sound good? Everybody ready to do that? Go ahead and grab a picture, throw it on Instagram real quick while I grab a little bit of drink. I woke up this morning, I think maybe with a stomach bug. My kid had a stomach bug the last couple of days. So I took some fresh pre-workout right before the call. I might have to do a couple hits as we go. Is that cool? Is everybody okay with that? That is my style. For those of you that haven't been around very long, this is how I do it. Someone once told me on Instagram stories that that's not good for my health, and I told him he was wrong. He said, okay, you can argue with science if you want. I said, well, you might be right. I'm just choosing to ignore you for now because sometimes on a call when I'm under the weather, I just really need it. So here's what we're going to do. Very first thing. How many of you that are in the program already did the breakout session where you went through my goals workshop? Show me jazzies. Okay. Some of you aren't in the program, so you haven't done that yet. So real quickly, we have to do everything in life, my friends. This is one of the greatest principles I've ever learned. I want you to write this down. I've got 3 things I want to teach you today, but I'm going to be real. There's going to be 20 lessons woven into all of that. Cool? Start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. Biggest mistake people make in their business, in their life, in their relationships, in everything, is that instead of trying to figure out where you want to go, long term, you're just trying to figure out how to feel a little bit better today. And what that leads to is, again, a lot of little quick fixes, a lot of little hacks, a lot of little tips, a lot of little tricks. You wake up a couple of years down the road. How many of you on this call feel like you have worked way harder for your dream than your dream is paying you back for? Anybody? Well, sometimes that's because we're not actually waking up every day with the dream in mind. Instead, we're distracted by all these little things like, how much engagement did I get today? How many of you have got more engagement on a post but didn't make more money and didn't get closer to your dream? Okay, there's a lot of things we can get distracted by along the way that aren't really serving the main purpose. So we have to define what is the main purpose. So I'm going to ask you this question. For those of you that have already done the goals workshop, you can just go ahead and comment with your answers in the chat once I get this question out. I want you to imagine a whole year out. So we are at the end of 2024. As I'm recording this live, that would be 1 year out. We're at the end. Let's just pretend it's December and you have already accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish for the year. I want you to just imagine that you could accomplish anything you want, literally anything. I want you to pretend for a second that I could literally remove every single obstacle, every single struggle, every single pain that would try to keep you from getting what you want, and just imagine just being able to have it. If you could do that, what would your dream life look like? There's a couple things I want you to really think about. One is I want you to think about more of the experiences. Okay. So for instance, we would be traveling more, or, we would be debt free, or we would be, going to visit our kid at college. Thankfully, my kid's going to college locally, so I don't have to travel at all for that. But everyone's got different lives, right? And that's why this part is so important, because we all have different lives. We all have something that's different meaning to us. Freedom is a powerful word, but only if you take the time to define it for yourself. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is a tangible dollar amount. And the reason I like to do this is because if I don't come up with something specific that I can measure, it makes it really, really, really hard to actually create a roadmap to it. Does that make sense? So 1, what kind of experiences would you have? And number 2, what's a tangible dollar amount? For me personally, I like to put it into some type of a monthly amount. In other words, based on these experiences that I want to have, what is the monthly dollar amount I would need to make to live that kind of a life? Does that make sense? So don't say you want to travel to Hawaii every single weekend and then put that your tangible goal is to make $1,000 a month. Unless, I don't know, unless something dramatic happens to the economy in the next 12 months, nobody is going to Hawaii every weekend on $1,000 a month. I don't even know that you're like going to make it to Hawaii once on $1,000. Okay. So come up with the experiences that you want. And then I want you to create some type of a tangible number that represents that freedom. Make sense? When you got that, I want you to throw that over in the chat thread here so we can share it with everybody. For some of you, sharing it here on a public forum, whether you're on Zoom or watching us over on YouTube, we're also streaming to YouTube today as a preview call. For some of you, sharing it publicly in a forum is going to be one of the biggest steps you've ever taken toward your dream. It's one thing to put it on a vision board that no one else in the world can see. It's real easy to start erasing things and changing numbers on your own vision board. But once you put it out for other people to see, it is a powerful force. All right. Alexis says $17,000 a month. Heather says I will have replaced my teaching income and then some, $10,000 a month. But more importantly, I'm helping others grow their business through the Push Coach method. That's awesome. The Push Coach method is something that we teach inside our Life Coach certification for those that don't know. Trisha said monthly speaking engagements. Ooh, new one's coming in. I lost it. Ashley said getting an RV and traveling as much as possible, mostly to beaches. $10,000 a month would be amazing. Love that, Ashley. I'm currently shopping for an RV. So anyone who has RV experience, send me all your tips. Chelsea, $600,000 a year. Tammy, $15,000 a month. I'll be able to leave my job without worry. $7,000 a month. Debt free. Travel internationally. How good does it feel to hear these dreams and to see these dreams and to just say yours out loud? Does that not already feel amazing? Now, this, my friends, is a principle that I want to teach you right off the bat. Okay. Set your goal in the highest vibe you have, and then refuse to lower it when you have your lowest vibe. This is something that I live by. When I'm on my highest vibe, in other words, when I'm on a call, or for me on a mastermind in person with my mentor, and I'm asked a question like this, and I can feel my heart like just coming out ready to explode. Whatever answer comes out of that moment, that's the thing I'm sticking with. The biggest mistake most of us make is that we set these goals on this high vibe, and then a week later, we're having a really bad day or a really bad week. And we're like, yeah, I'm just going to go for this instead. And what happens? Do you stay excited about your low vibe goals? Are you like, oh my God, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and work for my low vibe goal? No. The energy that you create the goal in is the energy that will be recreated over and over and over and over by working toward that goal. Does that make sense? I got this crazy, stupid goal for next year, friends. The goal is to buy a lake property, one per month. Currently, do you know how many lake properties I own? 0. 0. How do you buy a lake property per month? I don't know. That's what I got to figure out. I don't even know anything about lake. Like, I've been spending so much time looking at lake properties, researching lake properties. So far, without buying a single lake property yet, I have already learned 1,000 things about what kind of lake properties to buy and what kind of lake properties not to buy just by having the goal. Some of you are like, $15,000 a month. I don't even know how that works. Cool. You won't figure out how it works until you try to get it. You will never, ever, ever figure out how it works until you have it as the goal that you choose to grow into. And so you set the goal, and this becomes the standard that you say, I'm going to wake up today and grow into that goal. And this is why a process is so freaking important. You're not going to grow into this thing with one Instagram hack. I wish you could. That'd be super awesome. But if I'm being real, that program would cost like $100,000, and I would charge you $100,000 for the one hack that would fix your whole life with one post. And you'd be stupid not to pay it if that really worked. I mean, honestly, and I would just make $1 trillion and you would make $1 trillion because it'd just be this one simple thing. But life doesn't work like that. And I think you're all smart enough to know that. But these damn ads catch us on our lowest days. And we're like, okay, maybe that would work. I don't even like the idea of this thing they're telling me to do, but I'll give it a try. It's not a great way to make decisions. Find the thing you want. Find a way to grow into it. Day after day after day. That's why you need a process. Okay? So I want to jump into my slides now because some really, really, really important things that I want to share with you today. This thing that you just wrote down from now on, this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters. Going viral doesn't matter unless it helps you get this. And if it does, cool. Go viral. I don't care. Having the greatest Canva template you've ever seen in your life no longer matters unless it helps you get this. And if it does, awesome. Grab those Canva templates, swipe them, snag them, drag them, whatever the ad is telling you to do, go grab them. For the rest of your life, nothing in the world matters except for getting this. And if you can grab onto that one singular principle, if you never jump on another call with me ever again, I'll be so freaking happy. Because that will change your life forever. Because once we figure this out, then the fastest way to get there without trying to quick fix your business. And that's some kind of like balance that I want to create for you today. I want you to focus on the thing you want more than anything in the world and ask yourself, what is the fastest way to get there without trying to quick fix your business? One of the things that we teach in my life coach certification is this head versus heart. And one of the things that we say about the head is it's rooted in scarcity, trying to type over here, and the heart is rooted in abundance. And I want you to listen to the difference between these two questions I'm about to ask. How in the world am I going to make that happen? Versus, how can I make that happen? Do you see the difference in the energy? A lot of people are waking up every single day and just scrolling. How do I make it? How do I fix my business? And that's why one of the number one things I hear from people about different courses or programs that they've tried is, oh, I did that and it didn't work. And I'm always just like, what do you mean it didn't work? What's it? Did you learn? Did you grow? Did you engage the process? Are you closer to your goal today than you were yesterday? Because too many people are looking for something to fix. And I just want to be like super clear about that. In this program, I will not fix a single person. I tried really hard my first year to be a savior, and I found out I'm a real shitty savior. Okay? I just can't do it. I tried really hard to save and rescue people. And here's what I found. I tell leaders this all the time inside my leadership programs. If your goal is to help as many people as humanly possible to make it to the top of the mountain, and I want you to pretend for a second, just for the sake of this analogy, that we're all using bicycles to get to the top of the mountain. I know that sounds a little crazy, right? But that's just hang with me for a second, okay? If the goal is to help as many people as humanly possible get to the top of the mountain, should you spend your time pushing people who are just sitting on bikes at the bottom or helping people that are already pedaling halfway up? See the difference there? As a leader, it is not my goal to find people sitting on bikes at the bottom of the mountain complaining about how big the mountain is. It is my goal to find as many humans as I can that are trying with what they have to pedal up. Whether you're a 20th of the way up or a 5th of the way up or halfway up, as long as you are pedaling uphill, I am going to grab on with everything that I have and I'm going to help you get up that hill. But I cannot pedal for you. I can't. I always tell my health and fitness coaches, like, I cannot be your workout or your meal plan, but I can be your freaking pre-workout. And I just know that when I take pre-workout, dude, working out's so much more fun. So I'm not here to replace the work. I'm here to give you the tools and the energy and the support you need to run your race. But this is so, guys, this is such a principle of life coaching, okay? Your path is not my path, and my path is not your path. And anyone who says otherwise is full of shit. Every single one of you are on your own path, and it's my job to be a guide to help you get to your path. You can't steal my path, even though you can borrow a lot of principles from it. But we're still going to teach you some really powerful stuff. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. We're going to teach you some really powerful stuff to help you to find your path and walk down your path to getting your dream. Because everyone said something different in the comments. Did you guys notice that? No, it was similar. I think we all from the comments see that we're all in alignment with each other. Would you guys agree with that? Like, I feel like we're all in the right place. We're all aiming in the similar directions, but we are all individuals. And you have your own individual struggles, your own individual needs and desires, your own individual strengths. Every single person here is an individual. And it's so important to me to inspire you to keep being that individual, not to be a copy paste of anyone else in the world. Something I say in my book actually is, why would you settle for the next version of someone else when the best version of you is always an option? I want to help you become the best version of you. So let's look at how to do that today, okay? I want you to first look at this, okay? This is what I call old school. This is what I call quick fixes. What is old school? Old school would be like, just show up until it happens. I may have been given advice like that. Just keep showing up. Just do it. Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and hustle until you pass out and just message every freaking human on the planet. I want you, if you're not asking your uncle if they want to buy your product, you must not believe in your product. I heard someone say that one time and I was like, what the hell? I'm not asking my uncle to buy my products. I don't want to life coach my uncle. That's just weird. Hey, uncle, you want some life coaching? No, that's weird. Old school is basically show up no matter what, no matter how you feel, push through it. It's kind of like more of like the hustle mentality, if you will. Okay. But then we've got this like quick fix, which is just do this one thing and everything will fix overnight. Do this one thing, do this one thing, do this one thing, do this one thing. And I'm not really big into chasing extremes because I think it's dangerous. But there's always a middle ground. And a middle ground is when I embrace the work ethic of the old schools, but I'm smart enough to literally ask, is there a better way? And I'm not trying to fix my business overnight, but I am smart enough to realize that if I use my God-given creativity, there is a better way to do it than waking up at 4 and working till midnight. Okay? We've got a lot of people on this call that you are early birds. You love to wake up at 4 a.m., but you go to bed at like 7:30 at night. Cool. If you try to work till midnight, you will die. And then you've got people like me. I am a night owl. If I try to wake up at 4 a.m., I can tell you right now for 4 hours, I will not be productive. I will walk around like a zombie through my house, hitting my head on walls and just like trying to figure out where in the world I have a pair of shorts. It's somewhere in the middle that we have this optimal performance. The Pareto principle says that 80% of our results come from 20% of our time. 80% of our results come from 20% of our time. So what if we take the 20% of things that give us 80% of our results and we put all of our time and energy and focus into that? By Josh's guesstimates, I call this Josh statistics. 98% of entrepreneurs spend 80% of their time doing shit that will never make them money. Ever. And so when we say, I want to make $15,000 a month, but how could I ever even have time for that? I'm already so overworked. You are not overworked. You are just over scrolling. You are over Canva-ing. That's not really a word, but it is now. Okay. You are over Canva-ing. You are over studying other people's stories and reels looking for content ideas. And so my goal in this program is to help you put your time and energy and focus into the most important things that will move your business furthest, fastest, without working more. I want you to probably work a little less. I'm just being real. I've challenged a lot of 6 and 7 figure earners to slow down. And by slowing down, I don't mean stop hitting goals. I mean, stop ruining your freaking mental and emotional health. Stop selling your soul to the next goal and instead be smart enough to realize with the right focus, I can make bigger things happen without giving up the things that matter to me the most. Is anybody interested in that? That's what this program is about. So we're going to jump into the 3 things that are going to do this for you. Okay. Because fully embracing what I call the performance triad is the quickest way to build a sustainable, really important word, by the way, 6-figure business that gives you a life of your dreams without sacrificing the things you care about the most. So let's jump into number 1. You guys ready? Everybody ready? Let's do it. Self-confidence through subconscious coaching. I want you to write this down. Self-confidence through subconscious coaching. We're going to talk a little bit about self-confidence versus confidence. We're going to talk a little bit about subconscious coaching. The first thing I want to say this is the difference between confidence and self-confidence. Confidence means that I can do anything I've already done before. In other words, I practiced it enough, I worked on it enough, I developed the skills enough that now I am confident I can do so. Self-confidence is, I've never even done this before, but I just believe so much in my ability to figure things out and get them to work that I can do this. You see the difference there? One type of confidence is always looking for some type of external validation. How many of you go on social media every single day and you are just hoping and praying that it gets enough likes and engagements that you feel like you did a good job? That is not self-confidence. Self-confidence would be, I know the life that I'm working toward, I know what I'm creating, and I know that I am 1,000% capable of doing it, and what does or doesn't happen today has nothing to do with that. I am not judging my ability to perform or succeed based on anything I see out here. I have full confidence in myself. Does that make sense? And that's where the subconscious comes in. So a couple of years ago, some of you have heard this story, but I broke out with these just like rashes all over my skin. I was like, what in the world is going on? It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. So the last thing in the world I wanted to do was go to the doctor, like trying to stay away from any type of medical facility. I'm like, just wait this thing out, sit here at home and watch my rashes take over my body. But eventually it got to the point like they were so bad. I was like, all right, I guess I would rather get COVID than have these rashes literally take over my body. So let's see what happens. So I go to urgent care and he's like, I don't really know what it is, but we're going to give you some steroids. We're going to give you some antibiotics. Cool. Give it anything a try. I go home, take the steroids, take the antibiotics. Everything heals up for like a whole 5 days. And then it comes right back with vengeance. I go back. He says, I'm going to give you some more steroids, some more antibiotics, but you really need to go to a dermatologist and figure out what this is. Okay. So I go to the dermatologist. I walk in. Immediately, she says, so obvious, you have eczema. Oh, okay. And here's what that means. What that means is you can no longer use any type of scents or dyes or anything. I don't care if it says it's organic. I don't care what the hell it says. If it's got any perfumes or dyes, get rid of it. Get it out of the house. You cannot put anything on your skin that might irritate it. Okay, cool. So I go home. She gave me some more steroids to at least help clear it up until that could kind of like my new lifestyle could fix it. Well, here's what happened. 5 or 6 days later, it starts breaking out again. So finally, my wife, who is the most beautiful human in the world and is also a little on the hippie side, she's like, you got to go to my naturopath. Okay? You have got to go get, I don't know, they're going to know what to do. You probably need to have your blood taken, some tests run, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, I'll go. I go to the naturopath and she says, it's very interesting that the dermatologist told you not to put things on your skin. She said, that is a good start, but that only covers the outside. And the reality is eczema is basically a gut issue that is manifesting itself outwardly. So you can take the rest of your life and never put another single dye on your skin, and that will keep it from irritating it more, but it will never actually fix the real problem. The only way to fix the real problem is to get to the root of it. I want to talk to you today about the subconscious mind, because this is the element that 99% of people are missing. This is how we think it works. I call this conscious level coaching. Got a mindset. There's a lot of conscious level mindset coaches. Just be more positive. Just say positive. Look in the mirror and say positive things. Just say it, read it, listen to podcasts, do this, do that, do that. You've got people who are really big into the actions, which is like, you just got to change your habits. Got to wake up earlier, got to work harder, got to send more of this, got to do more of this, got to do more of that. How many of you ever heard that like your habits are like everything? But every time you try to change your habits, you're like, apparently I suck because I'm not very good at changing these habits. And this is how everyone else sees results, is like kind of just like a combination of these things. But subconscious coaching, and this is what we teach in our life and performance coaching certification, by the way, takes things to a deeper level. It realizes that our subconscious mind is the permanent beliefs that we have gathered through our life. And those permanent beliefs are creating a lens that our conscious mind is seeing life. And until I deal with these subconscious beliefs, I will go on the rest of my life thinking that these results are basically fixed and I have no power over them. In fact, one of my favorite quotes in the world says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life. You will call it fate. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. In our life coach certification, we talk about these things we call stories. And these stories are essentially things that we have gathered throughout our life that become what we more normally in the personal growth world call limiting beliefs. Okay? To say you have limiting beliefs is kind of just like a half story way of understanding it. To truly understand it, you have to know that the subconscious mind is gathering up data and storing permanent beliefs that you basically are now stuck with until you do some work to change them or fix them. Our subconscious mind is doing two things. I want you to write this down. One, keeping us safe. So if we've programmed our brain, let me just give you an example. A lot of people scared to death of leaving their job to do something they love because the job feels safer. Now, why would it feel safer to depend on someone else running a company than to depend on yourself running a company? Why in the world would that feel safer? Because you've grown up in a world where that was what was presented to you. And over time, this thought, belief somehow was caught. For some of you, it was taught. It was literally told to you over and over. Go to college, get a safe job, get a 401k, blah, 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 blah. It was stored into this. And anything that goes outside of this feels unsafe and therefore triggers off what I call your caveman DNA or your internal smoke detector. It's basically saying, danger, danger, danger. Remember how I said in my 20s I kept running into a freaking brick wall that I didn't understand? Yeah, that was my subconscious mind. I was taught my whole life that I had to find the perfect plan for my life. Perfect plan. Gotta be the perfect will of God is what I was told. And I'm not here this isn't anti-religion, anti-God. It's just what I was told over and over and over and over and over. Didn't realize that was the subconscious story that I kept gravitating back toward. Every new thing I tried, I was trying to figure out, is this the perfect plan? If it's not the perfect plan, I got to get out of here. And we all have different subconscious stories and thoughts and beliefs. And that's where it becomes really, really, really important to work with someone who understands the subconscious. Because if we don't dig into some of that stuff, we can stop putting perfumes on our skin. And that might help a little bit, right? But if we don't deal with the internal issues, stuff's just going to keep manifesting over and over and over. Very important, friends. You're going to get 2 calls a month with me that will always, with the exception of today, because it's kind of an intro call, always gear a little bit more toward the sales and marketing side, because that's what I love to teach. Love it. Okay. But on the other 2 weeks, you're going to get special workshops with my master performance coaches from my certification. And it's going to be all around the subconscious and helping you to deal with the things in here that are holding you back. For some of you, you're going to have a coaching session where literally your entire life is going to be changed. As one little thing is exposed to you that's just been playing as a story in the back of your head your entire life that you didn't even know was there. The thing about the subconscious is it's also kind of unconscious. What that means is you're not really aware of it. It is this thing working in the background that you're not really aware of, because the second thing it does, I said, number 1, it keeps you safe. Number 2, it automates. Its job is to essentially automate things so that you don't have to take as much time or energy to think and to do. Have you ever been driving down the highway and just out of nowhere, you like wake up from a trance? You're like, how did I get here? Oh my God. I hope everyone's okay. Is everyone all right? Is there any sirens behind me? Like, what's going on here? What happened is your subconscious mind took over for you. Anybody ever been driving down the highway and you take the wrong exit? You're like, why did I take this exit? Oh, this is the way I usually go to this place that I go to all of the time. It's your subconscious mind taking over for you. It is the greatest thing in the world when you've programmed it for success. It's the worst thing in the world when you've accidentally programmed it, or society has programmed it, or your parents have programmed it for lack and scarcity and fear. Does that make sense? Until we deal with this, I'm just going to tell you right now, trying to build a 6-figure business without dealing with the unconscious, woo! That's some scary and maybe, if I'm being honest, dangerous shit. Because what happens, I call myself the push coach, and some people misunderstand what I mean by that. Some people think that what that means is to just push through your feelings, push through your pain, push through your fear, push through your doubt, show up no matter what. Excuse my French for a second, but fuck that. That is awful for your mental and emotional, and I would even argue spiritual health. What's more important to do is to work through those things, okay? Come out on the other side with what we call your heart voice and allow true alignment with your heart voice to push you forward naturally through excitement and energy and purpose and passion. See the difference there? There's a really big difference between, oh my God, I just feel like such a failure, but I'm going to do this thing because Josh told me to. Versus, man, I want to change the world so bad. This thing Josh is telling me to do it's a little scary, but I want to make a difference in the world so bad, I'm going to go for it. You see the difference there? Such a big difference. And that difference is everything. If we don't get that right, I'm just going to tell you right now, business will lead to a lot of disappointments, a lot of failure, and honestly, can end up stacking limiting beliefs on top of limiting beliefs that make it even harder down the road to pursue your dreams, because instead of dealing with your shit, you're just stacking more shit on top of it. That makes sense to everybody? So that's number one of the performance triad is I got to do some deep dives on myself. Okay? And this is so important because through this, the other things that I'm going to teach you can kind of naturally happen, okay? So let's dig into number 2. You ready for number 2? Is everybody cool with me? Everybody good? It's a little bit of a long first call, but you will notice with Josh that when he shows up, he gives you everything he has. I don't hold anything back. So if I say I'm going to deliver 3 things, if the first thing takes an hour, I'm not stopping. All right. Now, if you need to hop off because you have places to go, totally fine. Everyone that's in the program, the replay will be in your online library at joshcoates.com. Okay. So number 2, sales psychology and the process of sales by coaching. I geek out about this stuff. And this is going to be what you are going to get from me twice a month. This is going to be like my specialty inside the program is digging into sales psychology. And here's why. As I've already mentioned, I went through a life coach certification in 2014. All of the subconscious mind that I just taught you, that was the stuff that I was learning. And so as I started a business, I kind of like most people do, started trying to sell based on just what we naturally think of sales. Talk to a lot of people, make a lot of noise, post on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't know what I was doing. I was posting like Word Swag. Does everyone remember that app, Word Swag? That's some 2015 Instagram for you. Like literally like stock photos of basketballs with like motivational quotes on top of them. Like if you could go back, I guess you could scroll back. It's bad. But after like that first year of just like making shit up and just throwing spaghetti at the wall, I finally wondered, in a life coaching session, the questions that I ask and the process that I take people through takes them from showing up on a call completely unmotivated, with zero confidence, not believing that anything is possible, and by the end of the call has them feeling fully excited, aligned, energized, and ready to go do something. Isn't selling a program kind of the same? I'm trying to take someone who maybe isn't quite motivated to join me or embrace this thing to a place where all of a sudden they're fully aligned and energized and excited to jump into the process. I said, what if I started selling more like I life coach? And you know what I found out? Number 1, it's so much more fun. And number 2, it works way better. You want to hear something crazy? Give you one little sales psychology hack. If I try to force you to give me a yes or no answer, what do you naturally want to do? I'll wait as you think about it. If I try to force you to say yes or no, what do you want to do? A couple of people said say no. Eric said run, run away as fast as possible. Yes, those are the 2 human responses. They're in our inward wiring. Every human has one thing that we want more than anything else in the world, and that is to be right. More than anything else in the world. Okay? Yesterday, I don't know if I have any sports fans. There's usually a couple of you will get this. Yesterday, the college football playoff was announced, and the undefeated Florida State was left out. And every single person on the internet that was a Florida State fan was more mad than you could possibly imagine. And also some other people, like, especially if you hate the SEC, you hated that Alabama got in instead of Florida State, which I get. I also hate the SEC. I also hate that OU is going to the SEC next year. I don't know what to do about that. I'm going to hate my own team for a little bit. But if you were an SEC fan, you had 20 million reasons that Alabama deserved to be there instead of Florida State. If you wanted Florida State to be there, you had 20 million reasons that Florida State belonged there instead of everybody else. And every single person, just like politics, will give you 1,000 reasons why their facts are irrevocable, undisputable. This is the truth. And the reality is none of that shit's the truth. None of it's the truth. These are just our interpretations and opinions and feelings. There are some facts. Like there is a fact that Florida State was undefeated. That's a fact. What you do with that information is your story about that fact. Another fact is Alabama lost a game to Texas. Alabama won a conference championship. Those are facts. We can all agree with that. We don't agree with how to interpret that and what that means about whether or not they deserve to be in the playoff. Does that make sense? When I try to make someone say yes or no, it feels like I am trying to convince them that their favorite president is the worst president in the world. I won't even mention names because, my God, I had to bring up a sports analogy to keep everybody from getting triggered today. If I start listing names of presidents, there'll be a freaking brawl right here on Zoom, like people literally punching squares next to them and below them because we want to be right. And so sales psychology is so important because it's taking the principles of life coaching, which is me using questions. And those of you that are in this program, you are going to see a lot of life coaching in action, by the way. Life coaching takes questions to help other people go inside and start to develop their own answers and find their own truth. When I try to force my truth on someone else, the only thing they want to do is punch me in the face. And so sales is so freaking important to understand the psychology of it, because if you don't, your social media posts will make people want to punch you in the face. And you can call it tough love all you want, but if they want to punch you in the face, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of coaches out there that like to call it tough love. And I'll be real, I have a following of entrepreneurs, and I can sometimes get away with tough love because I literally have entrepreneurs telling me, dude, I love that tough love. Give me some more of that. And me responding to that is a version of sales psychology. They're asking for tough love, so I'm giving it. But if your audience isn't asking for tough love and you're just giving it to them, they just think you're an asshole. Sorry. It's all of our job. I'm going to teach you the core elements and principles of sales psychology and how to customize it, but it's going to look a little bit different for every single person on this call. And if you are copying and pasting other people's Instagram or Facebook posts, the problem with that is your audience might be totally different than their audience. And something that literally spoke to their audience could trigger yours. Does that make sense? Like there are other people out there like me that are a little bit more of tough love coaches and have attracted an entire group of people that love that and thrive off of that. Okay. But if you are just pissed off today and just wanted to go off on your clients with a social media post, that is never going to lead to more sales. Basically telling everyone that they're a bunch of lazy idiots is never going to make them want to hire you and give you money. Like, I know it kind of seems like common sense, but I literally see it on Instagram and Facebook like every single day. There is this element that I will be teaching inside this program that I call building a belief bridge. This is sales psychology like 101. Okay, this is kind of a formula I've created. This is a half formula. We'll fill in the rest of the boxes on our calls together. But this is what most people are doing. Okay, I want you to imagine there is a mountain over here, a mountain over here. Okay, and we want to build a bridge to get from one mountain to the other. The first mountain, mountain one, is where you used to be before you found tools that changed your life. Those tools changed your life and you crossed a bridge into a place I would call transformation. And you are now a brand new person with new terminology, new values, new perspectives. But the person you're trying to sell to is still over here on the other side of the mountain. They have not learned this new terminology. They have not learned these new values. They have not learned these new perspectives. And what I find most people doing is standing on one side of the mountain, yelling and screaming at other people to come across. Just yelling and screaming. This is why my program is the best. This is why our 152 superfoods are better than their 48 superfoods. This is why our cosmetics are better. This is why our sales process is better. This is why it's all about what I have. I'm just gonna be real with you for a second. Nobody cares what you have. Nobody cares. The goals and dream that you have is not anyone else's job or responsibility to care about. The only thing your ideal client cares about is what they want and need. And really good sales messaging is the process of, for the sake of your sales, unlearning everything you know about transformation and taking time to ask them powerful questions about what they want, what they need, what they are looking for. I've put people through this process over and over and over. For those of you that have officially joined the program, in your online library, you'll find a bonus program called the 6-Day Sprint. For those of you that are in the network marketing, there's a parallel program also in there called 6 Days to Diamond. And this is the process of going through and actually surveying your audience to find out what are the words they use. What are the specific things they are looking for? And then I build all of my messaging around what they want and need, as long of course as I actually fill that need. Okay. This isn't where we like get unethical and just throw out things that we don't even know anything about. Okay. We find everybody remember the Venn diagram from grade school? It's where two circles cross over. Remember that? If you don't remember it, you write everything in this scenario. You'd write everything, all of the problems you solve in this circle, all the things they want and need in this circle, and where those things cross over, that's your sales messaging. Okay. So some people in my audience might say that the thing they want more than anything else is to go viral on Instagram. Well, I hate the idea of viral on Instagram. It goes against everything that I teach and everything that I believe, so I will never actually try to solve that problem. Okay? But they'll also say things like, I wish I knew how to convert more sales. And I'll be like, I love to help people solve that problem. Now, I'll be honest, they don't call it converting more sales. That's what I call it. So that's where it becomes important to know, what do my customers call it? Does that make sense to everybody? And when I get really good at this, and I'm going to teach you in this program how to use sales psychology for your social media posts. For those of you that are interested, the same things apply via emails. I do a lot of email marketing. If you didn't already know, I think most of you know that. How to apply it to like webinars, workshops, free challenges. How many of you done free challenges before that didn't convert very well? Most of the time it's because you didn't use sales psychology. You just gave them 5 days of free shit and then we're like, why didn't you join? Well, because you didn't create a path that led them to joining. Does that make sense? Everything is in the messaging. And if we don't get the messaging right, we're really just making a lot of noise. And going back to something I said earlier, I want to know, what is the quickest way to get from where I am to where I want to go? If we're talking about sales, understanding sales psychology is hands down the quickest way to get from where you are to where you want to be in that department. Does that make sense to everybody? When we don't understand sales psychology, friends, we're just making a lot of noise. And for some of you, if you're like me and have my personality, you're like, I don't mind. I can make a lot of noise. That's fine. But like 98% of you are introverts who don't even really like making noise. So if we're gonna take our time and energy into making noise, we better make some noise that actually matters and counts and builds relationships and leads to sales. Would you guys agree with that? Okay. Can you guys give me 10 more minutes? I got one last thing that I want to talk to you about because this is also really powerful. And we call this true leadership coaching. Okay. So this is what you're going to be getting a lot of from our master coaches. You'll get some from me. You'll notice that I kind of go back and forth. I will put my consultant hat on and I'll put my true coaching hat on, and I'll kind of go back and forth depending on what your questions are and what it is you need. Okay. But when you get on the calls with the master coaches, I want you to see the difference. Mentoring, which is what most people kind of relies on my experience or success, assumes others have my same gifts and wiring, makes others dependent on me, and raises up followers. Coaching, true coaching, I should say, relies on questions that open people up, leans into their gifts and wiring, teaches others to think for themselves, and raises up leaders. When you get on calls with our master performance coaches, they are not going to try to tell you how to fix your business. In fact, they're not allowed to, because they aren't $1 million earners like I am. They are true coaches, which means they're going to ask powerful questions. They're going to force you to look inside. They're going to force you to start finding some of the thoughts and beliefs and stories and patterns that are holding you back. And I cannot sell you enough on why you need to make those calls. Like, you need to put big, huge ass stars on those days on your calendar. Now, for those of you that are 9-to-5ers, we have a once a month Saturday morning call just to make sure that everyone can get access to like actually getting on a call where you're going to be able to be coached by someone. Okay. The true coaching calls are not going to be like a 45-minute teaching. They're going to be like a 10 to 15-minute teaching, and then it'll be coaching. It'll be like, who wants to get coached today? Who's struggling with something in their business? Who's dealing with something that they want to talk out today? And I'm going to tell you right now, some of you are like, I kind of want to just be told what to do. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not anywhere near as powerful as being taught how to think for yourself. This program is all about raising up leaders who raise up leaders. And I can sit here and I can tell you what to do all day and night until I am blue in the face. But the reality is, if you have subconscious stories holding you back, you won't do them. Or you'll do them with zero belief or confidence or energy. We call this unaligned action. And the master coaches are going to talk to you a lot about that. The difference between aligned action versus unaligned action. I'm going to teach you some things about sales psychology, and some of you are going to be like, oh my God, that was so freaking amazing. And you're going to wake up the next day and be like, that will never work for me. I don't even know why I would even try that. And you're going to show up on a coaching call, and you're going to find that alignment. And you're going to find that as you learn some skills and work through the shit that's going on the inside, the two things collide into aligned action. And this beautiful and powerful thing happens where you are taking action, not because you like need something to work, not because you like need to fix things, but because you're so fucking excited about the life that you want to create, the people you want to help, the dreams you want to live. This beautiful thing happens where there is a natural energy that literally pushes you. Does that make sense? That's what we're going to be teaching inside this program. Okay. On the first and third Mondays of the month, it'll be me in here teaching on sales psychology on the first week. On the third week, open it up for Q&A so that I can answer all of your questions about sales, about messaging, about marketing. On the second and the fourth week, you're going to be jumping on with our master performance coaches. My boy Mark Hildebrand is here with me today. He is the co-creator of our life and performance coaching certification. On the fourth week, it'll always be him. And he's going to do some really powerful stuff where you're going to get coached, but he's also going to put you into breakout rooms and have you kind of practice on each other. Now, just to be clear, that will always be kind of a guided practice. We do have a life coach certification for those of you that are like, dude, this true coaching shit, this is badass. I want to learn this. For those of you that want to learn that full on, that's what the certification is for. We are not pretending that by being a part of this program, you're going to literally become a true coach. But we do need you to learn some of the principles and elements of it, because how many of you on this call have a business where you have to lead people? Show me jazzies. How many of you that have to lead people have had some limiting beliefs about leading people? How many of you on this call have tried 1,000,000 times to just tell people what to do and give them tools and give them resources? And when that doesn't work, just try a different tool. When that doesn't work, here's another tool. When True coaching is going to change your life forever. because you're going to realize that asking the right questions is 1,000 times more powerful than knowing the right answers. Let that sink in for a second. Asking the right questions is 1,000 times more powerful than knowing the right answers. And this program is all about you. Not me, not my systems, not my methods, even though I'm going to teach those. I'm going to give you so many tools. But if I don't develop you into the person that can use those tools, shame on me. And that's what this program is going to do. We're going to develop you into the person who can build a fucking house with a hammer if you have to. And then we're going to put a bunch of power tools in your hands so that you can get there faster with less energy and effort and work. Sound good? Cool. Now, for those of you that are with us today, just like checking this thing out to see what it's all about, if you want to join, okay, this link will get you 50% off your first month. So this program, as of right now, during our soft launch, we haven't officially really launched it. We just put out some emails for it. As of right now, is $77 a month. Okay, you can get half off your first month using that link. Kurt, if you would do me a huge favor and pin that inside the YouTube video, I'd really appreciate that, brother. That'll get you, so your first month will only be $34.50 USD. Sorry, I know I have some Canadian friends. I've been trying to say that more often. $34.50 USD for your first month. And then 30 days after, it'll be $77 a month moving forward. Okay. There is 0 contracts on this program. You can join today. And if tomorrow you change your mind, you're like, you know what? I saw that post Josh put on Instagram. I don't like him anymore. You can leave. I mean, I don't think I post anything weird on Instagram, but I don't know. Sometimes I make fart jokes and maybe you don't like that. You can leave at any time. Okay. Anytime you want. Josh drops too many F-bombs, you can leave. I will drop some F-bombs. I will tell you that right now. I'm not going to lie to you or try to hide from that. I will drop some F-bombs. If that's not your vibe, that's okay. If you are an SEC fan, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I hate the SEC and my team is joining the SEC. So like, I don't know. Like you either double hate me or you double love me. I'm not sure what to do there. But regardless, I want you to know that this program is here because this is kind of what we're calling like our legacy program. Here's what we mean by that. We have our life coach certification and a marketing program on the back end of that we do for people that want to take their life coaching business to 6 figures. And that is really like our profit model. That's what pays all the bills, takes care of the team, all of that. And we're going to do that like literally forever. We love it. This is not a profit program. Okay. If we wanted to be a profit program, if I'm being real, it'd be a $300 a month program, not a $77 a month program. I told my team, I said, I want to reach the whole fucking world. And if we're going to do that, our emails going to be reaching thousands of people, eventually millions of people that have literally seen one post from me, one Instagram post, one ad, one email. And I don't want to ask someone who just met me yesterday to spend $6,000 to get certified as a life coach. We need a place for anyone and everyone that has a dream, that needs the tools, that needs the training, that needs the path. Some of you will go on to do our life coach certification, and that will be awesome. Some of you will hang out in this program for the next 9 years, and that will be awesome. Some of you will do 2 calls with us and then take what you learned and go build your dream, and that will be awesome. This is essentially a landing place that we wanted to create for the world of dreamers who need the tools, who need the support, who need the help to get where they want to go. And if you want to be a part of that, it's going to be a kick-ass journey and we're welcome. We want to welcome you. And if you don't, that's okay too. There's 0 pressure. Deal? Cool. Okay. Now, we've been going for over an hour. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have, I'm going to go live in the Facebook group tomorrow to talk a little bit more of like the layout and the structure, all of the officials. The one thing I will say that I just want to like fill you in on, one is all recordings will be in your online library, joshcoates.com. Okay. The call calendar is inside the Facebook group, pinned to the top. That's also really important. For the most part, it's every Monday at noon Central. The Zoom link will change. So like make sure and get the Zoom link for the specific call for the person that's hosting it. We'll have one Saturday morning call. So that's there on the calendar. Okay. The Facebook group is technically open post. However, it does have to be approved by an admin. And here's why. I do not want this group churning into a free-for-all of anyone and everyone in the world that wants someone to like read their Instagram post and give them feedback. Is there anyone, everyone raised their hand that they lead people. If you lead people, you don't want to come into my program and have to lead people. Like you already lead people. You came here to get led. Okay. So with the Facebook group, I have a couple rules. I got them written down here. I should probably just like read from here. Okay. Here's the thing with the Facebook group. We don't want to clutter the feed. We don't want you having to answer other people's questions. Here's what kind of posts we do want to see. Okay. Sharing wins. Sharing things that serves the whole community. So if you're like, hey, this is a book that's really helped me. Hey, here is a podcast that's really helped me. Okay. What I really, really, really don't want is anything company specific. We've got lots of different companies represented here. So if your company is doing some type of a launch, cool, keep that in your company group. Okay. Please don't ask for personal feedback. Okay. Please don't come in the Facebook group and be like, hey, I'm working on this Instagram post. Hey, I'm working on this messaging that Josh, bring that to me. Okay. Bring that to me on our Q&A call, not to the community. No one in this community is a sales expert or you wouldn't have joined the community. Okay. So don't ask a bunch of people who aren't sales experts for advice on sales. It's just a really, really bad idea. Okay. No self-promotion. I think that's pretty obvious. Okay. And then no negativity. Like this is a high vibe group. So if you're here, join the high vibe. Okay. If you need, this is the way I like to say it. It's okay to struggle. We all struggle. Okay. But don't bring it to us unless you're looking for a solution to the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, please don't come in the Facebook group and be like, I had the worst day in the world. Someone please encourage me. But if you're like, I'm having a really hard time with time management. Does anyone have any suggestions on a great podcast or book I should check out? See how much different that is? That is always welcome because someone else is going to read that and be like, hey, I'm struggling with time management. I should check out the comments too. There's going to be some help there for me. But there's a really big difference between asking people for tools versus just asking people to motivate you and like support you. I'm here to do that for you. Okay. We're all here to support each other. I think we all know the difference. Does everybody see the difference there between supporting each other versus leeching each other? Okay. We in this program need each other's high energy. We need to feed off of each other because there's something beautiful that happens. I call this the 3 levels of reach. I want to teach you this powerful principle and I'm going to shut up and let you go enjoy your Mondays. 3 levels of reach says there's 3 different ways we have to reach if we want to be healthy leaders. The first way is reaching down. We literally only have businesses because we help people at a lower level of growth than us. Do you guys agree? Okay. If they're not at a lower level of growth, they're probably not hiring you. They're hiring someone at a higher level of growth. Okay. But here's what I found is most people spend 99% of their time serving people at lower levels of growth. On social media, answering DMs, having sales conversations, talking to their clients, for some of you, talking to your teams. Now, question. If you were the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, what is happening to your growth when you spend 99% of your time with people at a lower level? If we are not careful, the people we are called to serve can become the anchor on our own growth. And what I have found over and over again is sometimes just the energy of the community of other dreamers is enough to just accelerate your growth forward. because you're finally around other people who believe in dreams. Guys, Instagram all day long, even when you get really good at sales psychology, is still going to come with some people saying things like, I could never afford it. I'm going to teach you what to say when people say that, and it's going to blow your mind. But people are still going to say that shit. And if we're not careful, we start letting their limiting beliefs become our limiting beliefs. And then we're waking up every single day, sending messages or making posts or creating workshops, already convinced that nobody has the time or the money or the energy. And you will learn through what we call the push method that when we start our action off with a scarcity story, that scarcity goes all the way into our feelings and our actions and creates the thing that manifests in our life. Over and over and over, it becomes a cycle. So the first way we fix this is we have a second level of reach, which is to the side. We need to have people at a similar level of growth with similar goals. And we need to surround ourselves with these people. These become our colleagues. And these people are the kind of people that believe in our dreams. Most of us believe in others' dreams more than we believe in our own dreams, right? And these people encourage us and they lift us up and they tell us everything's going to be okay. And that immediately changes the whole thing. But there's a third way you got to reach. You also have to reach up. Because the people at our side will cheer us on, tell us everything's going to be okay, but they don't always know how to tell us that there's more. It takes someone at a higher level to look you in the eyeball and say, listen, I love you, I believe in you, I care about you, and I know you have more in you than this. And that's why I have a mentor. He told me at the beginning of the year, he said, Josh, you got to create your own world. You've been doing too many teachings and trainings for like specific companies, and it's almost like your brand is almost kind of like dependent in a way on these different companies and what they have going on. He said, you got to create your own world. And I have literally just been sitting on that all year long, asking myself, how do I create my own world? Scary. And this right here is the birthing of creating my own world. In January, we're doing something called a 6-figure summit. It's going to be virtual. Going to have some badass speakers, but starting in March, we're taking this shit on the road. And I'm going to be putting on events around the country, building my own world. Because the reality is, I love speaking in person. I love live events. And so we're going to be, as of right now, tentatively, we will be in Dallas, Texas in March. At some point in the year, looking at coming to DC, Philly area. I've got a pretty large following in both of those cities. I love both of those places. At some point, we are trying to make it to LA to have a big, huge, like everyone come go to Disney with us, have a live event. And then, of course, also Orlando. We got to hit both Disneys up. You know, I know some people are East Coast, some people are West Coast. I like LA, but I know a lot of people like Florida. Regardless of where our goal is to come to basically the corners of the earth. And yes, Canada, and yes, eventually UK, and yes, eventually Australia, and all of the places. But I live in the middle of the country, so Dallas is the easiest major city for me to get to and bring my whole team and kind of birth things together. So keep your eyes open for that, because we're going to be doing a big in-person event. We'll have some really special VIP stuff like the night before that you can come and hang out, have dinner with us, hang out at the Airbnb. Keep your eyes open for that. Announcements are going to be coming really soon on that, okay? We are creating a freaking world of dreamers. Dreamers that want to do it the right way. And I don't love saying the right way. I hope you hear my heart behind that. There isn't a wrong way, but the right way, in my opinion, is one focusing on growth, true personal growth along with business growth. But the other one is respecting your boundaries and making a commitment not to give up the things that are most important to you just to build a business. To me, that's the right way. So if you're in on that, we'd love to have you. If not, cool. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Either way, I love you guys so much. I appreciate you so much. I'll be going live in the Facebook group tomorrow to talk a little bit more of just like the structure and the layout, just so you know all of the expectations and all of those things. For today, here's what I want you to do. I want to challenge you if you have free time today. And some of you don't, and that's okay. Okay. Some of you, this is all you had time for today. Cool. Take it, soak on it. For everyone else, I want to encourage you to rewatch this video one more time. I want to encourage you to take notes, and I want you to look over those notes. I want you to meditate on those notes, and I want you to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepare yourself for the journey that you're on. Because a lot of people join programs, get excited on a call, and then it's just like, next thing. And what I want to really teach you how to do is how to truly capture life-changing lessons and hold on to them. And one of the ways I do that, I find a book that really, really challenges me. I listen to it over and over and over and over. Do not let today become another thing that's in another notebook that's somewhere in the closet. Take this, meditate on this throughout the week. Watch it a couple times. Go over your notes a couple of times. Take the goal that you wrote down, and that has got to be something that literally goes on like a note card or a piece of paper, that goes on your computer, that goes on your car, that goes everywhere. That's the only action step other than watching and listening and reviewing, is to write that freaking goal down. And I want you to say it as many times as humanly possible per day. Okay? If this week you spend a little less time on social media and a little more time imagining and thinking about your goals and your growth, you are going to be fine, I promise. This is my personal version of manifestation, is to grab onto something and hold on to it for dear life with your whole fucking soul. And it will be something that you grow into, and it will be something that you create. You got to grow into it first, okay? But the only way you're going to grow into it is to focus on it, meditate on it, think about it, visualize it, hold on to that shit. You will grow into it. You will create it. All right? Love you all so freaking much. Would appreciate it so much if in the Facebook group you just go share your biggest takeaway from today. We'll also be announcing over on Instagram the 3 $100 winners. So make sure and go check the stories for that. Of course, if you are one of the winners, we'll make sure and tag you. But check Instagram for that. We'll be posting that here in the next literally 10 minutes. Okay. I love you guys. Have an amazing Monday, and I hope to see all of you soon. God bless. Bye, friends.